I guess I wanted to ask from you first because you were upped from to a series regular this season. I mean, I think I asked you about that at the end of our first chat, but I guess I wanted to know maybe what kind of conversations you had with John or Steve about the character of Howard and what you guys were. I don't know how you guys like start each season. I don't know what your preparation is, but I guess I just wanted to know what kind of conversations you had with like maybe what Howard was going to be up to this season.
I don't know that we had. I don't have a direct line to creating the storylines,
Sure.
but I think
Like this is what I
the
want
work.
right here.
Yeah, but I think I'm lucky in the way that because of how Howard grew from season one to season two,
Hmm.
uh, there's a lot of uh, world to pull from there, and it could
Yes.
go in any direction. So
Hmm.
I actually didn't know anything about what was going to happen going into season three, and I generally don't like to know much. I like to learn
Okay.
as the scripts come. Like
Mhm.
we're in the middle of shooting season four. I don't know who did it. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't like to know anything. So I was John, I think, told me before we started that I was going to have a close relationship with Marty this season, with
Mhm.
Oliver.
Hmm.
And that was thrilling, obviously, for many reasons,
Right.
but very satisfying as a character because Howard really just wants to belong. That's all he's wanted from the beginning is to be
Right.
part of a group, which is a very universal feeling. Um, so to have that dynamic of him and Oliver and him seeing Howard a little power hungry this season,
Yeah.
just give him an inch and he takes a mile,
Hmm.
was really satisfying. And then I the ghost episode, the episode that he narrates,
Hmm.
I had no idea how much was coming my way for that episode. I knew there
Hmm.
was an episode that I narrated, but that was very exciting.
Yeah, I wrote down the first thing when I rewatched the season. When I was watching, I think it was the first scene that you were in. I wrote the power of the whistle. That's all I. That's all
Yes.
I wrote. And I'm sure if anyone tried to take that whistle away from him, there would be a tussle. So,
Oh, there would
uh,
be.
yes,
Yeah, the whistle was an incredible prop.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know if I could handle having a prop like that. It's sort of like if someone handed that to me, I would want to um use it as much as possible, and I feel like it would get taken away from me very quickly. Like, all right, Howard's going in another direction. If you give Joey a
Yeah.
whistle, it's far too much.
Yeah. I definitely used it too much, but we pulled back.
I love it.
Always go big and then pull back.
Mm, that's great. Well, let's talk about the ghost episode because I mean, I was a theater kid. I went to college for theater. I remember the college that I went to. I went to uh, theater school in Pittsburgh, and the old Pittsburgh Playhouse that no longer stands. The they were saying that that building is one of the most haunted places in America. I think there were all these stories about I think with the ghost in Only Murders, I think they say he wears like a red coat. Um,
Yeah.
and there was a ghost at the Pittsburgh Playhouse called the Bouncing Red Meanie, which was a revolutionary ghost who there were some really crazy stories about that. Um, and I guess I wanted to know you're also a theater guy. I guess I wanted to know
Yeah.
I wrote down, do you have any theater ghost stories? I don't want to I that's sort of a joke question, but I kind of want to know.
I don't have ghost stories. I probably I am a very like I'm into rituals as far as like if
Okay.
I'm doing a play, I need to do the same thing before every time I go on. Like
Yeah.
I blow a kiss to a relative who passed every time, and if I don't do that, I feel like it's going to go poorly.
Hmm.
Um, so I definitely have superstition in my day to day life.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever seen a ghost in a theater, but I definitely follow all the rules that you're supposed to follow as far
Hmm.
as like keep the ghost light out, do not say this name of the Scottish play.
Of
If you
course.
do spit three times, I'll do all that because I don't want extra bad luck. But I haven't seen a ghost yet.
yet. With that yet. Yeah, there's I kind of like how this season is such a departure from where we are that I feel like it has to be uh, you know, thrilling for all of the entire company, really, to be thrust in an environment where the actors playing the characters are very aware of the environment or the theater world, but maybe some of the characters are not, or at least if they're not,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't spent as much time as they wanted to until now, which I think is really
Yeah.
cool. And I sort of like the explaining of a lot of rituals and things like the ghost light in the season. I thought that was really awesome. Um,
Yeah, we have some incredible writers who come from theater and sort of lay the groundwork for everyone
yeah.
because there's theater terms that are so specific that no one would
hmm
know. And I felt like they did a really good job laying them out.
Yeah, there was someone who I was watching it with a friend the first time that the season was going on. We had sort of little only murders like watch parties, and I had a
Right.
couple of my husband's coworkers. They're not from theater, and I think we watched the episode, I think it's 9 or 10, when Meryl Streep makes a comment about all the different colored tape, or someone says something, maybe it's Selena, and she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's she sort of explains what it is, and the person, my husband's coworker, was like, oh my God, that's what that is. And I was like, so
Oh,
season three is
amazing.
educating people. um
Yeah. I mean, no
yeah.
one knew what a sits probe was until now. I'm not even sure I knew what a sits probe was until that episode. But it was really exciting because it was what the show does so well is combine these giant stars that are beloved and huge Hollywood stars with some of the best character actors in New York.
hmm
So it was very exciting to work with Meryl, obviously, and Paul and Ashley Park and all of these great names, but then have these incredible character actors from New York theater,
hmm
like uh, Don Darrell Rivera, Allison Gwynn, Jason Vesey, Linda Emond, Wesley Taylor. It
oh
was it
really
was sort of a dream mix of people. It was very much felt like a community, and it the season sort of felt like when you do a play, you sort of create a family very quickly,
hmm
and
yeah.
it's this very tight knit family for a brief amount of time. That's what it felt like. It was really truly a dream.
Yeah, I still think I haven't done theater for like 10 years, but it's sort of like I have like posters and stuff, and I remember like I don't know, like my Avenue Q family or my Sweeney Todd family, they're all like I have such the relationships are so specific, so I completely
Yeah.
understand what you mean
So
there.
now I have my only Murders in the Building season 3 family. Um,
Razzle, rattle, death rattle
Death Rattle
fam.
Dazzle.
I can never say it correctly. It twists me up. Um, I did want to ask something about speaking of the ghost episode. I love the relationship between Howard and Katie. I actually thought originally that she was the killer. One of my old
Me too.
roommate. Yeah, really? Okay. The
Yeah.
one of my old roommates is still like a part-time stage manager, and she was watching the season. She's like, they better not make the stage manager the killer. She's like, I'm gonna be so upset. It's gonna be such a bad look for us. Um, so there's two things I wanted to ask you about that, just because I wanted to know what it was like to play sort of that antagonistic relationship, power, not power hungry, but like authority figures between the two of you. But also, there's
Mm.
a line when you're explaining how your mother reacted to seeing Howard on stage one time. It was something about it just reminded me something about how a lot of gay people in theater school are taught to like almost butch it up. And it made me, I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
when I rewatched it, that I thought of a lot of conversations I had with professors or directors or stuff like that, in
Yeah.
terms of that. And I think that's a really great detail in both the writing, and there's something about your face in that moment that I feel like really reads it telegraphed a lot to me. So I'm just wondering if you can Tell me about that just small interaction.
Yeah, I the line is I'm paraphrasing it, but after she saw me on stage and I had this moment where I felt like I had a powerful moment from the Crucible. I did the monologue. She said
Mhm.
my voice was matronly and shrill and never wanted to hear me use it again. So, oh, I got a little like choked up thinking about that because
Mhm.
it is real. Like you're saying, like going to theater school and being such a specific actor who has such a specific voice and such a specific persona and look. I definitely was told several times that I wasn't going to get where I wanted to, that my specificity was a liability as opposed to something that would lift me up, which I've learned
Mhm.
now. Obviously, everything that makes me who I am is what is getting me the jobs that I've gotten,
Mhm.
particularly Howard. That moment, just that whole episode felt really special because it was really nice to see Howard live his dream for a moment. He wants to
Mhm.
be good at so many things and really isn't great at any of them. And it was nice to see the relationship with KT, like see that go from antagonistic to mutually beneficial, where they both, for a brief moment, helped each other uh, achieve their dreams. You know, she got
Mhm.
to direct, he got to act on this big, beautiful stage and use his big inside voice. Um, so I found it very, very funny, obviously, but also extremely moving. And again, it's a testament to John Hoffman and the writers, and they really put so much thought and love into these characters. And I feel like they know Howard so well that
Yeah.
I've never gotten a line or a moment where I'm like, that doesn't feel like Howard. It feels so beautifully like Howard that I can't believe they even thought of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a specificity to that. Like I think it's weird that I don't know, like I mean, I was in theater school in the early 2000s. Like we sort of just accepted this like, oh, you're to this, you're to that. And I'm glad now we have more conversations that are a lot more nuanced and we can
Yeah,
talk about how characters can be played a different way while still honoring the text, which I think is really cool. Um, but I
yeah,
do feel like I don't know, the specificity of that was I just loved it. And I think it's a moment not to
yeah.
be taken for granted.
I think the you're to this, you're to that conversation is still happening. And I think it's like very important to push back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I talk to a class or like anyone from my college that I went to, any younger actor trying to make it, I really stress the fact that what you may think is are the things that are holding you back, or the things that are going to get you your job. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I for
Mm-hmm.
years I wouldn't let myself be shot from one side of my face because not in like in my own projects because I didn't like that side of my face.
Mm-hmm.
And literally now it's the only side they ever shoot from. You can't guess which is which. You're not allowed. But there is a bad side and a good side. Yeah, I just think that it's so important to embrace our individuality. Or it was important for me to embrace my individuality. That's what made me level up as far as the kind of work I was getting, as opposed to trying to be what I thought everybody wanted me to be.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I
Well, I
actually literally can't do that.
mm-hmm. Okay. I personally, if it's for what it's worth, I don't like taking pictures from the side at all. I like pictures completely from the front because I think I look weird from any side angle whatsoever. Um, I want to ask a
Untrue.
little I want to ask a little bit about Howard and Jonathan, just because
Sure.
we don't get to see a lot of them together this season, but
Yeah.
they talk about each other in terms of like there's a moment when Jonathan is caught with how he doesn't want to be in the show, or he doesn't want the part that he has. He doesn't want to be the lead, and he says something along the lines of like, "Please don't tell Howard." Like this would sort of
Yeah.
um, hurt him or make him angry or something to that effect. I guess I just wanted to know maybe how do you think their relationship is, and if you think how Howard would react if he found out that Jonathan really didn't want to be the lead.
Good question. I feel like season two did such a good job of setting up and exploring that romance.
Hmm.
So I feel like it's so there. So as you said, like even though we don't have many scenes together, our stories are moving like parallel.
Hmm.
So he's I feel like Howard. I mean, honestly, I think Howard would be less understanding than I would be. Howard is a very like you can't really predict how Howard will react in situations.
Sure.
So I can imagine Jonathan being nervous about how Howard would react to um, him not wanting to live a dream that's actually Howard's dream.
Hmm.
Um, but because I think there's a lot of love there, and I think that their relationship is strong, I do think they'd be able to work it out. They'd be able to talk it out. I think it's unfortunate that Jonathan is afraid a little bit of Howard,
Yeah.
but I do think they could work through anything.
I do think that's really kind of cool that I never questioned their relationship in terms of, since we don't see them very often together, that I feel like on another show you might think, oh, there's something wrong with their relationship, but I feel like it's really kind of cool how we know that they're okay and they're working alongside one another, but they're on completely different trajectories on being successful, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. It's
yeah,
I think that's a really cool unspoken sort of observational thing that that just because they're both stressed or that they are both going through these big changes, that it automatically means that like something is wrong, which I feel like we
yeah.
don't
Oh,
get
I'm
to see
happy that
that.
that's the way it reads because that's the way I was thinking about it. I feel like
Okay.
we've established Jonathan in Howard's life. We've established a great relationship between the two,
Hmm.
and whether we see them together or not, at certain points, we I like that the audience, or at least and feel that they're doing okay. That's
Yeah.
important to me.
I guess I was more worried about, I was like, who's watching Howard's cats? Are the cats coming to are the cats gonna come to opening night? Maybe put a bow tie on them or have them walk a red carpet. I don't know.
I promise you, the cats are
Oh
okay.
no,
All the
I
scenes we
know.
don't see, all the scenes we don't see, are all the scenes that were cut are Howard feeding those cats and cuddling those cats.
The cat is just completely just out of frame.
Yeah, the
Yes.
cat's just out of frame right next to me at all times. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Whew. Um, I guess I wanted to know from you, Michael, what part you would want to play in Death Razzle Dazzle.
Good question. That's
I
a
was
great question.
I actually
I
was
mean, the
really
nanny,
mad
obviously.
when I rewatched the finale and there's that fake out of you of Howard being like, I've seen it all. I know all the lines, I know all the nuances, and you put the hat on. Even rewatching, I was like, son of a bitch. I want to watch Howard in that part so badly.
So I would want to play the nanny, obviously. I mean,
Thank
just
you.
because that song is so, I couldn't get that beautiful song out of my. All of the songs that she sings are incredible. Pasek and Paul
Hmm.
uh, did the lullaby, which is being in the room for that. I can tell you is the top moment in my showbiz career thus far. Sitting in the
Uh,
room, watching Meryl Streep sing that song over and over again, and then Ashley coming in at the end, and the whole room was riveted and moved. I turned around at one point, and Don Daryl Rivera, who played Bobo,
mhm.
was sobbing, sobbing, real serious tears. It was an incredible day to watch her sing that song. Um, at one point, Steve turned to me and said, "This is a special showbiz moment, right?"
Mhm.
And it is. It wasn't lost on anyone. It really was the best. She had the best songs in the show. The nanny, I would say. She had the big fight one with Paul Rudd that
Yeah,
McGuire
that's great
Jackson
too.
and Pascal Paul wrote, and the she's just the best character, I think, in the musical.
Yeah.
And if I didn't play the nanny, I would play whoever whoever Bobo plays. I guess he's a fisherman with claw hands. I don't remember what his character actually was. He was in the ensemble, but anything that guy did
He's
Don,
so funny.
DDR. Yeah, we call him DDR. Those are his initials.
Mhm.
Anything he did was golden. Um, so I relate. I can relate.
Hey, you would look really good with that little hat, like cocked to the side that she
Oh, the
wears.
little yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, her little the nanny hat, the
Oh,
little
the
nanny
nanny
hat.
hat, the
Absolutely.
little blue
Yeah,
sparkly, like just like this. Um, I will say that the first time I've listened to that song, I'm not kidding, like hundreds and hundreds of times, and
so
that
beautiful, right?
and my yeah, it is. And the thing was, I mean, my husband's not into Emmy anything. It's sort of by osmosis, like what he
Yeah,
knows what from basically from me, and he when we were watching some of the episodes a couple days ago, the Pickwick triplet song came on, and I was in the kitchen, and he said, "So wait, do you think Hulu is going to pick to push Pickwick or the Lullaby?" And I was just like, they're both amazing songs, but I don't
yeah,
know how you don't listen to the Lighthouse song, and every time I hear it, I just stop and I just watch it. And I know from seeing that scene a million times that every reaction from you folks in the audience, that is a completely genuine, like
yeah.
bereft
No
of
acting
emotion.
whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, the most natural I've ever been in my life. It's just sitting listening to Meryl Streep sing that song. I can't get over it. I mean, it really was a magical moment.
Yeah.
Having it was an incredible magical season because we had Meryl there, we had Paul there, but it's had this there was no ego anywhere. Everybody just was down to play and have fun and make an incredible show, and everybody was so happy to be there, which is the case always with our show. I think
Yeah.
that we have the best crew, we have the best showrunner. The vibe is very filled with kindness, and it's an. I'm not going to say it's an easy job. It's a very civilized schedule, and nice days. It's just a nice job. It's. I feel so lucky to have it, and so lucky to be part of it. And that particular season, season three, was just out of control as far as how happy everybody was to be there, because how could you not be?
I mean, the theater magic of it all, I felt was really palpable. As a viewer, it was really
Yeah,
palpable. I don't know if it's because everyone that I surround myself with is has a theater somewhat connection, probably. But
yeah,
just hearing you talk about the cast and the crew and everything, it's just that I don't think a show that so successfully turns on a dime in terms of tone could be successful without the chemistry that you guys all have. Like I can feel it. Like the way that um it can go from completely bonkers silly physical comedy to all of a sudden there's a treacherous dangerous moment and you buy both of
yeah,
them.
yeah. And
One
also add
yeah.
in all of the heart. Like there's
Oh
just
yeah.
such a surprising amount of heart in the show,
Hmm.
combined with all of that crazy wacky humor and scary stakes. So it is kind of the best of all worlds that you get to play as an actor and be in that world. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And I've said this before in the tone is really set by the trio, like Steve, Marty, and Selena
Hmm.
really set the tone. They treat every actor that walks on that set, be it someone who has three lines, no lines, or a series regular, or Meryl Streep, they're treating every actor with respect and kindness. So it
Hmm.
just is a place where you come in and you're able to do your best work, because there's none of that stuff. There's no ego, and there's no hierarchy. It just feels like a comfortable place to play.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy that it's such a great job. I mean, it's a wild job. It's so good.
And those episodes are packed. Like I for like
Yeah,
so much stuff happens that and the fact that you folks can pull that off in 32 minutes. Every episode is
yeah,
packed with such juicy, juicy things. Um yeah, it blows my mind every single time, no matter how much I watch it. And this show I will come completely admit this show has insane rewatchability, like insane. Um,
Oh, I'm
it's
so glad.
yeah, it's one of those shows that I could probably, just put on while I'm doing something, but then I find myself I want to sit down and watch it. So
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much for your time again,
good.
Michael. You are such a
Thanks
delightful
for having
person.
me.
Um,
Oh,
I remember last year when we were talking about season two, and I knew there was like a musically aspect or something about theater with season three. I was
uh-huh.
super excited. And I obviously know nothing about season four, and I'm not going to ask anything, but I just wanted to say that the fact that we can go from this super New York Broadway performancy season to completely different with this exciting, bonkers new cast. Like, I don't think any other show has me excited as much as this does. So,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
so excited. I think you'll love season four. It's all I'll say. There's so many there's like a very juicy mystery. The group of actors that they've assembled are incredible.
Hmm.
The newcomers,
Yeah.
and it is a good one. It's a really good one, and the show somehow reinvents itself every season, but also
Hmm.
stays true to its core, which is really impressive. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy to be on the ride. I'm
Yeah.
glad that Howard's still around.
Yeah. To be on a show that has such a distinct identity, but can play around over here and come back and play over here and come back, that has to be
Yeah,
thrilling for any actor. All right.
totally.
Well, thank you again. I want the show to be represented everywhere at the Emmys. It needs more everything, in my opinion. So thank you for letting me gush at you, and have a good rest of your day.
Oh, thanks, Joey. I love seeing you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.